Dentist dealing with perforations while performing root canal. What is this new system of computer-aided navigation system in endodontics? Hi, I'm Dr. Mitali Behel, an endodontist and cosmetic dentist living in the United States. Welcome back to my channel, Dentistry for You. This week, as we are celebrating Cons and Endo Week, Sardar Patel Postgraduate Institute of Dental and Medical Sciences, Lucknow, India, invited me as a guest lecturer to speak on a topic, CAD/CAM aided navigation system in endodontics. This video is going to be a webinar in which I will be teaching you the basics of guided endodontics and how you can apply it in your dental practice when dealing with pulp calcifications. So let's start the webinar by watching this video together.
But Holland comes in for a pit stop. Time to refuel and change tires. Lou Moore himself changes the tires. Only 4 crew members, including the driver, are allowed to work on the car. It's a tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch. The tires are changed at last. A crewman polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stopped.
So yes, that's how technology affects all of our lives. Digital technology is so widespread that it encompasses everything, whether it's health, fitness, education, those social interactions with your friends and family on a WhatsApp video call, right now doing a webinar, these Zoom calls. So digital world has taken over all of us. Well, when the world is going digital, so is dentistry and the amazing dentist. The application of digital dentistry includes intraoral scanners, digital impressions, CAD/CAM, Invisalign, microscopes, apex locators, digital x-rays, CBCT. Digitalization has made dentistry so exciting. The dental office where I shadow here in America has a digital workflow, in-house laboratory. We deliver crowns and bridges in not more than 1 hour. It starts with the dentist making diagnosis with digital x-ray, then crown preparation, taking digital impression, designing and milling and delivering the crown and bridge in the same 1 hour. So all the amazing dentists watching this webinar, I have a question for you all. How many of you have seen a case like this in your daily practice? Calcified canal. In this case, there is pulp canal obliteration, also known as calcific metamorphosis or calcified pulp canal, in the upper right maxillary anterior tooth. And the discoloration associated with it can also be seen with tooth calcification into 1. So why does pulp calcification occur? Well, the American Association of Endodontists defines calcific metamorphosis as a pulpal response to trauma characterized by rapid deposition of hard tissue within the canal space, characterized by apparent loss of the pulp space radiographically and clinically a yellow discoloration of the crown. It is commonly associated with teeth having a history of trauma. Following orthodontic treatment, long-standing dental caries, restorative procedures, abfractions, and of course in the teeth of elderly patients. So what do we do in cases like these? If the patient is asymptomatic, we leave the tooth without touching it, or maybe do a composite filling to fill the access cavity, correct? But do you all know that about 7 to 27% teeth with pulp canal obliteration develop pulp necrosis? We all agree that using pulp calcifications is a challenge. So what do? Use extended shank round burrs, also known as Mueller burrs. Use a DG16 Explorer, a Pathfinder file, C+ files, or probably end up doing an endodontic surgery. Or probably would land up doing perforations, unnecessary tooth structure loss, failure to locate the canal, calling patients for multiple visits, or probably tell the patient, let's extract your tooth.
Hi, Lincoln. What are we doing?
Pulling out my tooth.
With what?
A rock.
And?
Floss.
Floss and a rock. That's how you do it. Up in the OC. Stands for original child. That's what Lincoln is. 1, 2, 3. What? What do we think? Let me see. No, let me see.
Well, that was a funny kid and a funny video. So let's start our topic, which is CAD/CAM aided navigation system in endodontics. I am Dr. Mitali Kukreja Behel, an endodontist and a cosmetic dentist living in United States. So what is navigation system of endodontics? So the CAD/CAM navigation system is a novel concept in which computer designed 3D printed guides are used to gain guided access during the root canal treatment and endodontic surgery to achieve predictable and safe results. Now, navigation system is of two types, which is static and dynamic. Today, I'm going to talk about static navigation system, which is making 3D printed models. So what do you all think? Should we do guided endodontics for all the cases in endodontics? Not necessarily. We can do apical surgeries or a transplantation. In case of study models and clinical simulations, like especially for dental students, we can make 3D printed models and dental students can perform the dental work before being exposed to the real patients. In case of instrument retrieval, it is on the experimental stage, but today we are going to talk about how we can use guided endodontics in the case of pulp canal obliteration, also known as calcified pulp canal. So why do you think we should adopt guided endodontics in these cases? And the answer is simple. A virtually planned and a minimal invasive guided access will help you to preserve tooth structure, will help you to avoid perforations, which could lead to an improved long-term prognosis, especially for teeth with calcified root canals. So what do you think is the difference between a freehand and a guided endodontics? The difference is simple again. While doing a freehand, there is always a chance of trial and error, but in guided approach, your drill will follow a single planned trajectory. Well, research and study shows results like 20% of the perforations reported in study were due to attempts to locate and negotiate calcified canals. The studies found the frequency of failures like perforation of root, fracture of the file, root canal not found when performing root canal treatment on incisors with calcified canals. The total frequency of failure is about 20% with mandibular incisors, showing failure rate of even 71% in some of the cases when dealing with calcified pulp canal. Some say there is so limited data on the treatment of teeth with calcified canals. Others says, especially in general practice, dentists don't have any treatment option available. So for all of us, guided endodontics could be a helpful tool for practitioners to treat these complicated cases without even a dental microscope. That's what studies show. So what do you all think? Is it time to upgrade ourselves?
So let me ask you a question. Are any of you guys still using Instagram's original 2011 app? I bet hardly anyone. Most of you have upgraded your apps by now. Now, another question. Are any of you still using a 2012 iPhone? Maybe a couple of people, but most of you have upgraded your iPhone in the last 8 years or so, or your Samsung Galaxy or whatever phone you use. We constantly upgrade our apps and we constantly upgrade our phones. Why? Because it gets better and better and better every year with hardware and software. But how many of us apply that same practice to upgrading ourselves? To upgrade yourself is to transform. And
exactly. To upgrade ourselves is to transform. So here comes the upgraded version to treat pulp canal calcifications. The concept of navigation and using guided surgery originated from neurosurgeons while treating brain tumors, where they can localize their surgical instruments during surgery. From neurology, this concept was adopted by dentists for implant placement, and then endodontists started using this concept to locate canals, especially in pulp calcifications and endodontic surgery. The guided endodontic procedure was first termed by Crissell et al. In 2016 with pulp canal calcification. Since then, many clinicians are trying and using guided endodontics in challenging cases, such as managing calcified canals and endodontic surgeries. So let's begin how to do guided endodontics. It involves 3 steps. Number 1, intraoral scan. Number 2, cone beam computed tomography, also known as CBCT. Number 3 is 3D printing. So let's together treat a case of pulp canal obliteration in the right upper anterior tooth via guided endodontics. First step, take a digital impression of the patient with the help of intraoral surface scanner. You can use any intraoral scanner available to you. My 3 best recommendations are Dentsply Sirona, 3Shape Trios and Medit i500. The surface scan that you take will be stored in the software in the form of STL file. So a lot of people get confused. What does STL mean? It means stereolithography. That's the full form of STL. It is just a file format which is used for 3D printing. So nothing to get scared of the word STL. It's just a file format which is used in the software to 3D print the models. Simple. Step number 2. Take a CBCT scan. The tooth in the CBCT can be viewed in multiple planes, that is axial, coronal and sagittal. Now, the image for CBCT scan will be stored as DICOM files in the software. Again, people get scared. What is DICOM file? It is another type of image format. So nothing to get scared of. DICOM and STL files are just an image format that is used in the software to help you 3D print the models. Okay, moving on. For endodontic purpose, keep a few things in mind when you're taking a CBCT. What should that be? Number one and most important, take CBCT at minimal resolution always. It should not exceed 200 microns. Number two, always take CBCT with high definition. Number third, take the CBCT in an open mouth position. Place cotton roll or a bite plane. This will help in segmentation of the teeth from the lower jaw, and you can easily prepare a drill path. Next, and the most important point, is field of view. Make sure that the field of view should be small, like the one shown in the green color. Small FOV will cover small area, like about 2.5 into 2.5 or maybe 5.5 centimeter, and this will help us to focus on the root canal anatomy. After the CBCT is done, we will upload the CBCT scan in the software Core Diagnostics. That's what we are using. Now comes another question: how to locate the canal on CBCT? When starting with your planning, try to view the tooth in all directions, sagittal, axial and the coronal view. The pulp canal will be viewed as a black radiolucency in the middle or in the apical third. But sometimes we are not able to see the canal at all. What will you do in those cases? Because CBCT has its own limitations. The spatial resolution does not always allow visualization of the canal. So what are you going to do in that case? In that case, let's always stick to the law of centrality. Try looking for the canal in the central part of the tooth. After you have located the canal, the software Core Diagnostic allows you to create a virtual image of the burr we are using. So this is the software Core Diagnostics, and this is the tooth, and over here we are trying to create a virtual path of the drill that we want to penetrate inside the apical third. In this picture, the blue arrow is your target point, the point where canal is found. In this case, it's the apical third. I repeat, this is the target point. Remember the term target point, the point where the canal is found. In this case, it's found in the apical third. So that's the tip of the burr, the virtual burr, and the red arrow shows the base of the virtual burr. Now the next question comes: which burr are you going to use for the preparation like this? Use a commercially available burr, that is Straumann drill for implants. It has a length of about 37 mm, diameter of 1.5 mm. So we need long burrs so that it can reach up to the apical third. So we need about 37 mm or maybe 34 mm burrs to reach up to this position, and the diameter should not be more than 1.5 mm, which is actually apt for the root canals. In another study, people have also used SS White EndoGuide burrs, the total length being 34 mm and the diameter being 1.2 mm. So you can use that burr and make a virtual image of these burrs inside the root canal in the software. So this is a clear picture of the software for establishing the path. As you can see, establishing the path of the burr till the apical third. This picture I have taken from Dr. Neeraj Kinarwala. He is also writing a book on guided endodontics. I saw this video on his YouTube channel. So if you want, you can go and check out his video on guided endodontics. I learned most of my things from him. Okay, so once we have our virtual drill path established onto the tooth, then comes fabrication of the template for guidance. So this is the template. Can you appreciate the circular thing on the template? This is called a sleeve. The sleeve helps to control the path and the depth of the drill or the burr used. So this is the template that we want to make. Why are we making this template? Because this template will help us, or will help the burr to guide towards the apical third of the canal. As you can see in this picture, the guide is helping the burr and it's helping us to move to the apical third of the canal. So how do we make this template? The template guide. Fabrication of the template is done via superimposition of surface scans with CBCT scans. To create a template for guided endodontics, the surface scan, which is the one green in color, or the STL file, were uploaded on the software Co-Diagnostics and they were superimposed on the CBCT scan, which is a DICOM file. So as you can see, this will be the last stage where the template is formed. Now the question comes, how do we superimpose an STL file on a DICOM file perfectly? Right now we shared, to create a template, we need to superimpose surface scans and CBCT scan. So superimposition has to be correct. If it's incorrect, it can lead to incorrect drilling during the procedure. So this also I've learned from Dr. Neeraj Kinarwala, and how he explains is, take 3 to 6 same points on the STL file and the DICOM file. Like in this picture, we have shown 3 different color points, green, blue and orange. If the orange is on the cervical area of the canine, the same orange point should be placed on the radiograph at the cervical area of the canine. Similarly for green and blue. This way you can easily superimpose the two over each other and you can get an accurate superimposition. Once the superimposition is done, we 3D print the model and get the template. Templates are attached to the teeth and their correct and reproducible fitting is checked. Remove the guide, do the initial access with the diamond burr until the dentine is exposed. After that, use the specific burr that you have chosen before and gain access inside the root canal, followed by a 10K file, BMP, and finally obturation of the canal. So that's how we do guided endodontics. Let me repeat it for you all quickly to make things a little more clear. First step is take an intraoral digital scan. Number 2, take the CBCT scan. Number 3, locate the canal on the CBCT. Number 4, prepare a virtual path for the burr. Choose the correct burr and create a virtual drill path for the burr. Number 5, make the template. And how do you make the template? Superimpose the surface scan with the CBCT scan. And finally 3D print the model. So the end result that you get is this template with the sleeve, and you can use your burr and finally it will guide you towards the apical third where the canal is present. Simple. So what do you all think? How much is guided endodontics accurate? Well, the research shows it's highly, highly accurate. You know, the mean deviation of angle between the virtual drill path and the burr that we have used is just 1.81 degree, which is equivalent to being negligible. There hasn't been any reports of root perforations when performing guided endodontics access. Next comes a case report of treating calcified canal in the upper right incisor tooth with guided endodontics. This is a case performed in the Institute Sardar Patel Postgraduate Institute of Dental and Medical Sciences in the Department of Conservative Dentistry and Endodontics under the guidance of the professor and HOD, Dr. Sanjeev Srivastav sir. So in this case, firstly, they have took the CBCT scan, and just I told you, this is the target point. Can you see in red? And the total distance is about 13.33 mm. So this is where they found the canal, at 13.33 mm. After that, they selected a burr. This is a custom made burr that they got made. They created a virtual drill, a virtual path for this drill. After that, superimposed the surface scan over CBCT scan and got this guide, got this template. The patient came, they tried and fit properly over the patient's teeth, and finally they took this burr and went inside the to this particular point in the middle third of the canal, and after that they took a 10K or a 20K file, went inside, negotiated the canal, and this is the final obturation of the tooth. So really nicely done case. This case has been sent for review in some of the esteemed journals, both national and international, and you would soon get to read about guided endodontics in detail. So next comes guided endodontics in molar teeth. Previously, there has been a lot of questions that premolars and molars cannot be treated because of lack of interocclusal space. The guide and the burr cannot function at the same time. So for your knowledge, I am going to briefly share how to treat molars with guided endodontics. In this case report, patient was referred to an endodontist as the referring dentist could not locate the distobuccal canal in the maxillary right upper molar. Patient tested positive on percussion. The radiographic examination showed pulp canal obliteration in the distal root. So the endodontist tried locating the canal via dental microscopes but could not, so he went for a guided endodontic approach. They started with 3 steps: intraoral scan, CBCT and 3D printing. On the CBCT axial view, they could locate the canal. The virtual drill path was established. This is where they found the canal in the apical third. And then, with the help of the software, the surface scan and the CBCT were superimposed on each other. And in the second visit, the guide was prepared. When the guide was prepared, they realized the problem lies with the interocclusal space. The template and the long burr cannot be accessed together. So to deal with this particular problem, they came up with a technique which is called intracoronal guide technique. I repeat, intracoronal guide technique. So what do we do in this? In this, what they did was they took a steel pin with a diameter of 1.2 mm, which could easily pass through the guide sleeve and reach the floor. Okay. So then both the guide and the pin were seated onto the teeth to check if the pin could go to the bottom of the cavity. This white arrow shows the position of the distobuccal canal. So with the help of the guide and with the help of the CBCT, they were able to locate the canal in the tooth. So they marked a blue colored ink, put the guide and the pin inside the tooth, and this is where it showed the distobuccal canal to be. The black arrow shows the point where we were speculating the canal to be. So the dentist was digging over here but could not find the canal. Next step is the axis is filled with composite. The entire axis is filled with composite temporarily. Why? This is what I'm going to tell you in a moment. So you fill the axis with the composite and then place this guide as well as this pin over the composite and cure it. After curing the composite, what do you see? You take out the guide, you take out the pin after curing composite, and this is what you see. Now this is a very magnified version of the tooth. This is what is called as preparing the intracoronal guide, which means inside the tooth we have created a guide. So this is how we can see the distrobuccal canal. Now what you have to do is, you don't have to use this guide and the pin anymore. What you have to do is take an endodontic burr, take an endodontic handpiece, put the spiral burr, the burr that you selected originally for this procedure, place the burr inside the endodontic handpiece and start drilling inside this distrobuccal canal. So the purpose of doing this, making an intracoronal guide, is that when negotiating this distrobuccal canal, you don't need this guide and this pin anymore. The only thing that you need is normal endodontic handpiece and a burr, and you can drill inside and reach up to the apical third of the canal. So let me repeat this for you so that you can understand it better. So first of all, we made this guide. When we made this guide, we realized that the guide and the long burr cannot go inside together because of lack of interocclusal space. So they took a steel pin marked with a blue pen over this point, put both the guide and the steel pin inside the tooth, and this is where they found the distrobuccal canal. Removed the guide and the pin, placed composite inside the entire cavity. That's the picture of composite. After placing the composite, do not cure it right now, just place the composite. After that, take this guide and this pin and slide it over to the composite when the composite is soft. After you have slid it inside, cure it. After curing the composite, take out the guide and the sleeve, and this is what you find. This is a magnified version of the tooth, and this is where you find the distrobuccal canal. Now, you don't need a guide and a pin. You don't need anything. The only thing that you need is your normal endodontic handpiece and the burr that you have selected previously. The spiral burr, which is used to go inside this distrobuccal canal till the apical third. So you reach up to the apical third of the canal. After that, take a 10K file and further start your BMP and obturate the canal. So the first case report on guided endodontics in posterior teeth with limited interocclusal space in maxillary teeth. So this is the one. Until now, it's the only one that has been found. So yes, I think guided endodontics is quite clear till now. What do you all think? Does guided endodontics have any limitations? Of course, it's a new concept. It will have limitations. The spatial resolution of CBCT does not always allow visualization of the canal. Increased radiation burden. Technique is limited to straight canals. Reduced mouth opening. Some of the forces generated at the burr can create some cracks on the tooth surface. Increased cost and time of fabricating the surgical guides, obviously. So just the last thing before I finish this webinar. It's a case of autotransplantation with guided endodontics. I know I did not discuss about autotransplantation in this case, and this webinar was all about how to treat pulp canal obliteration with the help of guided endodontics, but this case is so impressive that I thought that let me present this to you. This is a case of autotransplantation, and it is performed again in the Department of Conservative Dentistry and Endodontics in Sardar Patel Postgraduate Institute of Dental Medical Sciences, Lucknow, India, under the guidance of the HOD and Professor Dr. Sanjeev Srivastava sir. So, in this case, we all are aware of the fact that what exactly is autotransplantation. It is extracting a tooth from its original site and placing it into the edentulous zone. In this case, 4-6 has to be extracted and 4-8 has to be auto-transplanted at the site of 4-6. So they started with the CBCT. CBCT helped them to know about the morphology of both the teeth. Knowing about the morphology of both teeth is very important because that is how this particular tooth will be placed at this particular site. So CBCT is important at this point. So next, the guide was prepared for 4.8. The guide was prepared for 4.8 and it was 3D printed. Okay. After that, 4.6 was extracted. And this 3D printed model was placed inside the site of 4.6 to check the morphology of the site, if 4.8 can actually fit well at the site of 4.6 or not. So this is how you can see in the picture. This is the 3D printed model which is being placed inside the site of 4.6 to check the fit of 4.8 at the site of 4.6. So this is a wonderful picture showing the 3D printed model of 4.8. Can you see 4.8 is here and this is the 3D printed model of 4.8. How beautiful. So when we have checked the accuracy of the fit, if there is any alterations required, then you can definitely do those alterations in the bone itself. And after that, we extracted 4.8 and immediately placed at the site of 4.6. This is the radiograph. So why do you think that guided endodontics is so helpful in autotransplantation? The whole idea of guided autotransplantation is reduced extraoral time. The lesser we have extraoral time for this particular tooth, the better will be the healing. The PDL is going to heal faster and better. So there's reduced extraoral time, and this is a really nicely done case. This is also under review in one of the international and the national journals, and you will get to read more about guided autotransplantation. So really well done, Sardar Patel Postgraduate Institute. To conclude, guided endodontic procedures are a promising technique offering minimal invasive approach with lower risk of iatrogenic damage. Larger population studies with longer follow-up periods are definitely required. That's all, folks. Before going, I just want you all to watch this video just for a minute.
Become so skilled, so vigilant, so flat out fantastic at what you do that your talent cannot be dismissed.
Yes. So with this note, I would like to end my webinar. Thank you so much for watching. So this is what guided endodontics is all about. Rather, I should say software-driven endodontics. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I will be happy to help. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel Dentistry for You. I will see you all next time with another amazing dental topic only at Dentistry for You.